Throw a slack, you fucking moron!
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ScreenShare, a movie podcast about watching movies and sharing your screen. Share.
Jesus Christ, man.
Should I?
You didn't rest up in the last, year and a half?
Listen. Well, I just haven't been practicing. I'm rusty. Well, I've been rusting, not resting. I've been rusting over the past year.
This guy's over salad fingers over here. He's got his collection of rusty spoons, man.
Yeah.
And this week we're talking about salad fingers. We're going through all of the episodes.
Actually, so new big format change. We're talking about classic YouTube videos pre-circa. I don't think you say pre and circa at the same time.
No, it's fine. Just keep rolling.
So, welcome back, everybody.
Oh.
Some people might be wondering where we've been. Most people probably haven't even noticed we've been gone. But here's kind of the situation.
Go, love to watch you leave, kind of a thing.
Exactly. Or forget you existed at all, and then go, oh wait, there they are. And
I guess it was more of an Irish exit by us.
Yes. In fact, I actually listened to our most recent episode 69, Across the Spider-Verse, and we end it by saying, we don't know what's going on next week, but you can be rest assured that we will have an episode next week, and we will at least get Star Wars and Fast and Furious done by end of year, which...
Yeah, and we didn't.
We didn't. Now, the explanation for that, just to keep things short, some scheduling in our... lives changed, which made it kind of harder to record, so we were like, let's just go on brief hiatus turned into obviously what it became, which was we just didn't do it.
It was like an 18-month gap.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But I think it was like around April of 2024 is when we stopped. It is currently
18 months
October
where I couldn't
2025
mog on you, bro.
I mean, listen, you're always mogging on me. Let's is that not mewing? Or are mewing and mogging different?
You're getting mogged right now.
You're mewing, which is resulting in a mog over me. Does that make sense? So the reason we're talking about physical appearances is because we are... No, I don't think that's what he does at all, actually. Basically what happened is scheduling led to us not really doing it for a while. Then it was like, should we restart it? Neither of us were kind of feeling that excited about it.
Yeah, because I would have had to watch fucking Star Wars, man.
Yeah, man. Heaven forbid. I would have had to watch...
And like you had the pleasure of watching Fast and Furious.
To be honest, I feel like I watched the interesting ones.
You're actually lying because we didn't watch Fast and Furious, which is actually like a whole new... It's like a whole new dynamic. It's like a whole new world opens up.
Well, that kind of leads perfectly into this last thing.
A whole new world. What song is that one from?
That is from Aladdin.
Okay.
They're on the carpet, I believe.
The Guy Ritchie one, probably. You don't like Guy Ritchie, or what's up?
I don't know.
That's where Will Smith wants to fuck.
I was trying to remember Richie Rich. Is that a character?
That's something. Yeah. Not related, but...
Maybe a comic book character? I don't know.
I mean, I think he had a comic or like a kid's book, but then Macaulay Culkin played him in a movie.
Yeah.
And then they made a show on Disney Plus with like a little fucking twerp. Not to be rude.
That's not the same as the kid, the Disney movie about the kid who gets like a check for $1 million.
No, that one's called Blank Check, and he kisses a grown woman at the end of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I kind of got into this mindset of I'd love to do the podcast again. But obviously I was kind of like, I would like it to be a little bit different because obviously with the format we had, we kind of grew, complacent isn't the word, maybe bored.
We just
got
a little bored with it. And I think we didn't, at one point we were just like, we're just watching a bunch of stuff that it doesn't really make much sense.
Yeah. Our idea of like monthly themes and then ranking them all in one big list was fun. The idea was funny because it was like, at some point this is going to become confusing and too much, and then it kind of became confusing and too much, and we were like, whoa, who could have seen that coming? So we've come together, we've been kind of discussing new format change, and we're just going to kind of play with it. No pressure, things might change as we go. We kind of figure we are probably the ones that care most about the show's format. Most people who are going to listen are just going to listen.
Steven will probably have some things to say, but I don't really care about his opinion. So,
yeah, if he's listening, I hope he turns
I don't
us
value
up
his
for
opinion,
this part. Now you can turn us down again.
I don't value his opinion, and I only want to use him for fantasy trades that are advantageous to myself.
Yeah, that's true. Also, Guy drafted first overall and had a bunch of picks in the first round, and his team was still predicted to finish like 5th in the league, which is kind of crazy.
Well, he just doesn't have it.
I'm not going to talk to him about that, though, because I don't want to make him feel bad. So hope he doesn't listen to this.
Sensitive.
So what we've kind of determined is we don't want it to be so confusing and jumbled as having monthly themes that you can't really tell what the themes are unless you listen to the episode. And we weren't even really clear about that. So new kind of way to keep things organized, because we kind of liked how we were doing Star Wars Fast and Furious. So with a bit of a tweak, we are actually going to do franchises now. That was kind of like one of the main things we didn't want to do at the beginning. But it will allow us to be more organized and also do more while also having some solo stuff in there, because we're thinking do a franchise, maybe do a couple wild cards, one-offs that Calder and I just choose because we want to do them in between to break things up, and then do another franchise and kind of like do that kind of thing.
And I think it can like we can still do some weird stuff, like, you know, there's like 4 Look Who's Talking movies, there's like some Baby Geniuses, there's Cats versus Dogs.
We will be wise about it because we don't want 2 months of Air Buddies movies,
but still, like,
but we could,
know, and I think there's down the line there's room for us to kind of be like, okay, we want to do this type of a movie. Like, let's say Dogs in Ice, and we're like, okay, we'll do, what's the one with Cuba Gooding Jr.? Snow Dogs? Ice Dogs? Snow Dogs? Arctic Dogs. We could do that one with Harrison Ford, where he's got the dogs.
How did we never do Arctic Dogs on the pod before?
We did, I believe.
No, we didn't.
We didn't do it for Shitters Month?
No, because I don't think we'd ever did Arctic. I think we were planning on doing Arctic Dogs. It was on the spreadsheet, but we never got there.
Okay.
So just to wrap up this part before we get into the actual episode, ScreenShare's back. It's going to be a little different. It'll probably change up, but we hope people are interested. We're kind of excited to be back, and we hope that we have fun with it, and we hope you have fun with it.
Another thing, so in this new format, Our first series is John Wick. Yes. You know, kind of continuing the tradition of starting the podcast with the John Wick movie.
Yeah. It's kind of a full circle moment a little bit. Yeah.
But we're also going to try and kind of like peg some series to upcoming releases.
Yeah.
So one that we're thinking about is Toy Story 5's coming out next year.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid we're still doing, is it heaven forbid? No. Whatever the thing is where hopefully we're still doing the podcast. I forget. I don't know what that phrase is.
I think the phrase you're thinking of is by God's good graces.
No. If we're still doing it and Toy Story is around when Toy Story is coming out, we're going to do like the Toy Stories. Maybe we'll do the Hunger Games.
Haven't you like not seen any of the Toy Stories or something?
I've seen the first 2, I believe. I saw the first one for sure. I've seen that one like 4 times.
Yeah.
The second one, I know they got that little girl in it.
Okay.
Cowgirl?
Yeah.
Jessie,
yeah, for sure.
Third one, I don't know what the wrinkle in that one is. Is that the one where they send him into the gas chamber?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I haven't seen that one. That is that one?
Yeah.
So then they made another one. And then the one after has Keanu in it.
Yes.
And then the fifth one is going to be iPad.
Of course, dude.
I think. I'm asking.
kids
more
don't
than
play with
Helen.
toys anymore because all these iPads, all these tablets, all these.
Oh, number 5, toys versus Fortnite Boogie Down.
Have you seen that clip of Quentin Tarantino talking to like Bill Maher or something, and he's explaining Toy Story to Bill Maher, and Bill Maher's like, "What? So they're cartoons?" And Quentin Tarantino's like, "No, it's like a perfect trilogy of like almost like perfectly animated films." And then they made another one, and I'm not ever gonna watch that because the trilogy's perfect.
And then
I was
now
like,
they're
honestly,
making another one.
Now they're making yeah.
Dude, we don't have to get into Bill Maher right now, but come on, man.
If I could vomit on command, I would.
Sorry, Steven.
Holy shit. I don't know what that's going to look like on your end, but on mine, it almost cut out entirely.
My noise is gating right now.
To jump into the actual episode, like Calder said, we're starting on John Wick. Because
Like all good podcasts do.
Like all good podcasts do. If we ever take another hiatus again, we have to do John Wick again on our return.
Well, of course, then it'll be only movies where white guys shoot other white guys.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed that
will take a surprisingly long time to run out of.
I heard this on a podcast today.
Okay.
And this is like the only series where, for the most part, he's just killing white dudes. Most
That's
other
true.
action franchises, they're, killing some minority for the most
It's true.
part.
It's true.
There are some parts, he goes to Japan. Obviously, you're going to be killing some Japanese people if he goes to Japan.
Yeah.
But, like, he's not killing, like, gang members in Chicago. Like, that's not his goal.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, most of the time, the goal of one of these movies is, like, let's find the poorest people who, obviously stole my daughter or, killed my wife or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to commit, may I say, a genocide. Like a lot of these movies, you're killing hundreds of people at a time.
Yeah, I believe in this movie it was 77.
Yeah. Which, like, I think that it's bigger than serial killer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Especially
it's contract killer.
within the time frame.
It's professional killer is the truth about it. But nobody hired him for this. He just lost his doggy.
Well, I mean, it's more than that, but yeah.
He lost his
that's one of my
doggy
things-
that was from
that's
his
one of my-
wifey.
That's one of my things that I don't, one of the squabbles
peeves?
that I have with this movie. Not with
Is
this
the
movie,
dog
but how
thing?
people react to this movie. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. That everyone's like, and it's all because of the dog. And it's
Yeah,
like,
it's like,
well, the
well-
dog was kind of just the final straw. That was the nail in the coffin.
I mean-
the something that broke the camel's back.
The straw that broke the camel's back.
Straw
We're
that
doing
broke
well
the-
with phrases tonight, though. I think we should keep trying it.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, the thing with this whole movie is the whole movie, and honestly, the whole franchise is kind of this one man on a suicide mission. Like, he's waiting to die through all of them.
yeah. He doesn't really have
he's just-
anything to lose.
Yeah, it's kind of
For the
like
most
Death
part.
by Cop, where, like, they're going to fight the cops, but the idea is that the cops kill him. But
Yeah.
he's too good at what he does for the cops to kill him, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
And like,
I was
there's
thinking.
some other things where it's like, oh, this guy wants him to kill this guy and this guy, and what yada yada yada. But at the base level of it is this guy is facing the void because he lost his wife. He lost the thing that represented his wife and has no one else in his life. There's no meaning. He's murdered, probably at this point thousands of people in his life.
Yeah.
And so
Well,
he's just
yeah,
like, I'm ready
they
to
allude
die.
to the time that he did the impossible, which was the mission that got him out. But they don't go into detail about that at all. And it's like, what, did he literally kill like thousands of people? Like, or was it just like the high hundreds?
I mean, it's probably hundreds. And then there's
Which
the
is
thing about like
crazy.
he killed the entire bar of men with like a pencil.
Yeah.
And you're like, which is like one of the great inventions of this. Crazy accent by him, but
Yeah,
one of the greatest inventions of this franchise is just how they react to the character without having to show you.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little bit of why this movie works so well. But
yeah,
anyway,
it's kind of
I'm stepping on stuff down the road a little bit.
I feel like they kind of I mean, obviously, we kind of learn who John Wick is faster than the character of Yosef, the guy who kills his dog and steals his car. But I feel like the two, you kind of through him are able to like realize who John Wick is. Obviously, we get some monologue and some stuff from characters being like, "Oh, he's not just the boogeyman. He's the guy you sent to kill the fucking boogeyman."
Wow, you're doing that well.
Thanks. I'm trying to believe you, but you
keep making faces.
see Yosef basically see him as like some nobody. He literally says that. And the next time he sees John Wick is when he's in the bathhouse and John has the chance to kill him. And instead decides to stare into his eyes while he shoots another man on the ground. And just like the two, it was like in that moment he realized who like this side of John Wick, and not just the I'm talking about my car at the gas station guy. It's like, oh, this guy's like maybe one of the scariest men on the planet, probably.
Yeah, I mean, probably, yeah. And he's also, Yosef and his gang of boys are the only people who don't know who John Wick is pretty much throughout the whole movie. Yeah. And everyone understands who he is. And in that, we understand him. Like, I think the best example of this, which people are gonna, I haven't really seen it ripped off, like kind of a little bit in the John Wick slop genre that's kind of cropped up, which we can talk about later.
Yeah.
But when Leguizamo's on the phone and he's like, I don't know, he says, "You struck my son." I can't really do the voice as well as you see when and Leguizamo's like, "Yeah, well, he brought me John Wick's car."
I can't do the voices very well, and John Leguizamo was like, "Yeah, well."
I mean, it's kind of what he does.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's John Wick's car. And the guy's like, "Oh."
Well, was it? I think it was like, yeah, he's like, "I heard you struck my son. Is that true?" And he's like, "Yeah. Can I ask why?" And he's like, "Yeah, he stole John Wick's car and killed his dog."
Yeah. And he just says, "Oh." And that's it. And you're like, "Oh, fuck." Like,
especially because they're like
scary.
building this guy up as like this big, scary, powerful guy. And he immediately folds as soon as he's like,
immediately like, fuck.
Yeah.
Another part that is just incredible for this myth making is when Vigo calls John Wick. And then they have the conversation where John doesn't really, like, he doesn't say anything.
He literally doesn't say anything, yeah.
And Vigo's like,
I think he might say hello.
No, he doesn't.
No.
He just picks up the phone and he's breathing on the other side. And Vigo's like, we can settle this.
He's aura farming is the truth.
I mean,
and he's succeeding.
He is. John Wick is one of the better aura farmers in film history because he says the least out of almost any character.
Yeah.
Main character.
Except Nick Cage in what's that fucking movie?
Oh, Wally's Wonderland or whatever.
Wally's Wonderland, yeah.
I mean, yeah, but that's part of the character though.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of the character for John Wick as well. He just says more because he's an actual character.
I think Nick Cage's character is mute, isn't he? Or is he just...
No, he just doesn't talk.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure he might say something at the end. I can't remember. Okay. Or no, maybe he genuinely doesn't. I don't know.
I would wonder for like title characters. I think Mad Max is on this list.
Yeah.
Like Fury Road is on this list. But like what title character says the least throughout their entire movie? And it's probably John Wick, probably Tom Hardy's Henry, Mad Max. Probably. Hardcore Henry. I guess he doesn't really say anything.
Yeah,
huh?
He's a mute protagonist.
Oh yeah, but that's part of the character though. I mean, like characters that can
gimmick,
talk.
Really. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like being like Charlie Chaplin didn't say a goddamn word. It's like, well, he could.
I could read his thoughts, but I couldn't really hear them.
And all his thoughts are, "Bazinga! What a nice behind on her, Charlie." Calm down. But once that guy could talk, he was yapping like crazy. You see him do Hitler that one time?
Not personally, I wasn't there.
Well, yeah, I know. But you seen that clip where he's like, "Meh, meh, 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 meh," and I'm like, Charlie, go off. He stole your mustache. Drag his ass, man.
Yeah, man.
Anyway.
He had to shave that off, man. He was like, this has been my thing, but I gotta get rid of it.
And then Michael Jordan brought it right back. And then Alex Jones brought it back again.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's rocking that right now, I think.
Right now?
Yeah, like in the last like month. It's kind of been his thing.
I did not see that. Luckily, he's been out of my...
Yeah, I watch too much YouTube, man.
So...
My eyes glass over, I pass away as my heart stops. Sorry.
As you doom scroll.
Sorry, just watching some reels right now. Give me a second.
Yeah. Just a little distracted. I need at least 5 different social media feeds in front of me for me to be able to function, actually.
And one of them is just that guy that does the sound effects to cartoons on his drum set. It's not even, like, that's not even inappropriate.
Every time I watch one of those, I'm like, that's cool, and he's doing, like, a pretty good job, but he kind of uses the same, like, 3 or 4 things most of the time, and I'm like, it's, like, kind of accurate.
And also, you're kind of like, yeah, this is like a thing people have done for like 150
it's literally
years.
What's it
not
called?
150.
Foley. Is
Yeah,
it Foley?
he's doing Foley. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and
he's
some
not
people
even
haven't
squishing any
seen
carrots
things
or
before.
anything. That's true.
No shade to any creators or anything.
Middle-aged moms are going to be rolling when I tell them they've been doing this shit since 1952.
Yeah. Is this AI? How did he make a drum sound with the drum?
I can't believe what AI can do these days. Anyway, that guy's got a Wix commercial now. So John Wick, we probably went over
Wicks,
this a little bit.
John Wick's commercial.
We probably went over this a little bit. Sorry, I'm just not going to respond to that. In our first John Wick episode, which was also our first episode of our podcast, and now this is the 70th episode. Would have been so much better if it was the 67th, 67. Am I right?
Well, we ended on 69, which is
2 away from 67. 68 something.
6, 8, 9.
There we go. Directed by Chad Stahelski, former stunt double of Mr. Keanu Reeves on The Matrix and a bunch of other stuff. Did a lot of second unit directing for movies like Game of Shadows, After Earth, like the Sherlock Holmes Game of Shadows, After Earth, Catching Fire, a la Hunger Game.
Whoa.
Captain America Civil War. And second unit, if you don't know, is like for the most part, it's like directing action. And before they were doing all this stuff, him and David Leitch started this company, 8711, which is like an action scene design company. So basically the shit that like Freddie Wong does, kind of, where they'll be like, I'm going to shoot a scene in this thing. And they like, and they have the guns and stuff. But more, less VFX focused, more like
More
action stunt focused.
Yeah.
And this is both of their directing debuts.
Big.
Did you have a question?
No.
Put your hand up,
I was
please.
just going to say I've seen some of those kinds of videos where it's just like in a park, but they have some like crazy fight choreography.
Yeah.
And that's just the video is the crazy fight choreography.
You see it a bit on like action or stunt performers react on the Corridor channel, like where Scott Atkinson? I don't know.
Probably.
Scott Adkins. He'll like come in and he'll be like, hey, I think he's Australian. I don't know. Yeah, hey, and then he'll show the footage of like, this is what we were thinking of doing. And then this is like the actual thing where it's like one is just cardboard boxes and walls and shit. And they have like a toy gun. And the other is like the actual movie set. David Leitch left John Wick after this, did Atomic Blonde. Which is pretty good, actually. Have you seen Atomic Blonde?
I have not seen it, but I know it was well received. I don't remember it doing super well, box office wise, but I remember people liking it.
It was kind of not a weird pitch, but like it's basically like Charlize Theron is female John Wick during the Cold War, which is kind of like a really sick pitch, but I don't think it played very well in like the marketing and stuff. And
yeah,
also,
I didn't
like,
know it was during the Cold War.
There was, I think it also came out around like the time of Salt and like that, when they were doing like movies like that, and Salt was kind of shitty, and then you see this and you're like, oh, this might be kind of shitty too. But Atomic Blonde is actually like pretty good. And then David Leitch did some franchise stuff, Deadpool 2, Hobbs and Shaw. You know, I guess Deadpool 2 is fine.
Deadpool 2 is fine. I not super recently, but within the past year did like a Deadpool rewatch. I think it was after I'd seen Deadpool Wolverine. I was like,
yeah.
Because I was feeling, I enjoyed Deadpool Wolverine when I saw it, but within a month, I was kind of like feeling a bit on it just because of it.
It is kind of
So I was like, I kind of want to go back and see how the other two hold up. And the first one's still good. The thing is, if you don't like Deadpool humor or format, it's going to be kind of stinky, even the good one. But I like Deadpool 1, and then Deadpool 2, like you said, it was fine. There were good parts of it. There were parts that were better than the first one, but overall it was kind of a lot more like jumbled. Mm-hmm. I feel like Deadpool was something, sorry, last thing, that like really benefited off of having its budget cut a lot, honestly. Like the studio having like no faith in it kind of benefited it. Mm-hmm. And then they got a big budget and then an even bigger budget, and it kind of like went the opposite direction. Anyway.
Yeah, and I think that kind of happens a lot. Like there's a world where that kind of happened to John Wick, because this one was such a success. Mm-hmm. We can talk about that like as we get later in the franchise, because you, for the listeners, have only seen the first one and 4, correct?
Yes, I've seen this one, and I saw the fourth one. Yeah. So
the middle and also Ballerina are a bit of a blind spot for you, huh?
Yeah, I genuinely have no idea what happens in the other two, other than Lawrence Fishburne has pigeons.
Yeah, I mean that's most of it. And Hobbs and Shaw is kind of stinky. I don't like it very much. I also don't love The Rock in the Fast and Furious movies after 6. Like even 7, it's kind of pushing it.
Well, that's kind of where he started to be like, what if this is mine now?
Yeah. And in 7, like there's the whole contract dispute thing. So he's in like kind of the beginning and then in a hospital bed for like most of it. And then comes out at the end.
I didn't know that. You're spoiling.
That's fine.
You're spoiling boiling.
You haven't seen Fury 7?
Dude, I've seen almost none of them.
Oh, you've seen 1, 2, and 3 now.
I've seen Fast 6 though.
That one's good. No, you saw Fast 5.
Yeah, but I've seen in the Fast 5 episode, I tell you that I remember a scene with The Rock in a plane, and you were like, that's Fast 6. So I've seen Fast 6.
Okay.
Anyway.
And then he also does your favorites. Bullet Train.
Pretty good.
Which we went to see together.
Yeah, we saw in theaters, and we were like, that was fun.
It was kind of like as soon as I walked out, I was kind of like, yeah. It's one of those.
It was one where I was like, this is a fun movie that I think it's a movie that I feel like we don't get a lot anymore, which is like a pretty good movie that a lot of people will enjoy, and I go and see, and I enjoy seeing in the theater with a bunch of people. But then I'm like, I don't really need to see that again. But if I'm somewhere and someone's like, you guys want to toss Bullet Train on and eat some trash food, I'd be like, all right. Mm-hmm. But I've never been like, I gotta get Bullet Train on Blu-ray. You know. And
then his most recent film is The Fall Guy, that Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt movie.
Yeah, I think so.
Which I never saw.
Which surprises me.
Yeah, I just, it was one of those things where I'm like, I don't really care. You know? Is it Emily Blunt in that?
I think so.
Yeah.
It was a movie where I feel like there was some discussion about it when it was kind of like announced and as it was leading up. And then when it came out, it kind of just like, I think it almost missed its window. Like there was some excitement for the movie, and then it didn't come out for a little while longer. And by that, I was
kind of like, why isn't this Fall Guys? I was like, those little guys would have been much better on the screen.
Yeah, why isn't it the little jelly beans?
Yeah.
I want a Hunger Games style Fall Guys movie.
But it's like gritty and real. It's like The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I want it to be animated, and I want it to be animated cute like it is, but I want it to be really like violent.
I want to be fucked up.
I want to be like, oh man, and then that one jelly bean was ripped in half.
I want, churches and schools and countries boycotting the film.
Yeah. I want North Korea to get involved like they did with The Interview and threaten the US government because of the making of the Fall Guys movie.
They're like, this is immoral even for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he's got some other movie coming out with Amazon where it's like, I don't know, Pete Davidson's in it. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm kind of out on David Leitch at this point. Like each movie that passes it's kind of gone down for me. But they're both relatively strongly kind of linked to video game adaptations. Chad Stahelski a little more. One that you are invested in, which is Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes. Yes, one of my favorite games of all time. Playing Ghost of Tsushima,
which is actually
right now.
like, it's kind of like the one. He's the one guy who, if they were gonna make a movie like that, I would be like, yeah, him, of course.
Yeah,
because it
gives me a bit of hope because it's one of those things. I've come to learn that if I see that an adaptation of something I like is being made in another medium, my immediate reaction is kind of like, I don't want it to get ruined. And the truth is, it doesn't ruin the original thing. But like, I don't know. There's something annoying like about me being like, oh yeah, I absolutely love The Last of Us. And then people are like, I don't know, I liked the first season, but not the second season. It's like, that's not what I'm talking about,
game,
man.
Brother.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like it kind of muddies the conversation, and usually for a mediocre product, which is frustrating. Last of Us is one of the better examples, but even that has kind of like had its dips, so it's kind of frustrating sometimes. This is very much like a problem that isn't really a problem, but it gives me more hope that somebody who has kind of a proven track record for things similar to what I would imagine a Ghost of Tsushima movie being like, I don't know. It makes me a little more hopeful. It's
like the Alex Garland Elden Ring thing, where I'm like,
yeah,
that sounds interesting. But then, there was also an announcement that Colin Trevorrow is going to do a Jetsons movie. And I'm like,
with
a Jetsons movie, a Jetsons movie could be good. Not done by Colin Trevorrow. Like, not
I don't
to be
know
rude.
if there's much that can be done by Colin Trevorrow.
That's good?
Well, just that's like not what's
bad?
Maybe. I think there's a word I'm looking for. Maybe it's just like a cluttery. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for.
He makes very uninspiring movies. His movies feel uninspired.
Kind of uninspiring franchise slop.
Yeah.
Not that all of his movies are
Henry,
bad.
Though.
I don't even think all of his movies are bad.
I think the problem is that they're not bad. They're just boring.
Yeah.
Like, that's the issue. Like, what was it? He did, which one of the Star Wars?
He was going to do episode 9, and then they fired him in favor of J.J. Abrams because they panicked about Last Jedi.
But he did Jurassic World?
He did Jurassic World, which is why they hired him for episod 9.
And Jurassic World
whoa,
is like such
big
a
movie
nothing.
that did well? Get
It's
that
such
guy.
a nothing.
It is such a nothing.
And then some other stuff that...
And then they made like 4 fucking more is the thing. They made a movie that was nothing, and then they were we can turn this into a franchise, and it was even less of nothing.
I didn't see Dominion or Rebirth, but we'll do Jurassic Park on the pod at some point.
I'm sure.
Some other Chad Stahelski upcoming stuff. Rainbow Six could be interesting.
Sure.
Feels like John Wick adjacent.
That can kind of be anything, though. Whenever they're like, we're adapting Call of Duty,
and you're like, what?
And I'm like, okay, that can mean anything.
Yeah,
you're just making a movie and putting Call of Duty on it.
I mean, the Rainbow Six one could be interesting.
Yeah,
Michael B. Jordan made a Tom Clancy movie, No Remorse. That was interesting. You know, there's some basic stuff, like some boring basic stuff in it, but like, I don't know, you get Michael B. Jordan in a Chad Stahelski movie, like that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And then some other stuff, like he's in charge of Highlander.
Who's in? Is it? What's his name?
Sorry.
I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. He was in Top Gun Maverick. He was in the movie. He was in another pilot movie around not that long after.
Oh, Glenn Powell?
Glenn Powell. Isn't he gonna be in Highlander or something?
No, I don't think so.
There's someone who's tied to Highlander, and I thought it was him. Maybe it's.
It says Henry Cavill here.
Oh, that makes more sense.
But I don't know. I don't know how true that is.
All right. Good tangent, which is just me not knowing a guy's name. It happens more than it should, but
Glenn Powell's in The Running Man, which might be good.
yeah,
That's the
he's
new
actually
Edgar Wright.
been having some interesting movie choices,
Yeah.
more so than I expected.
I don't know how much I like him, but
Me neither.
he's also tied to Black Samurai, which is like a surrealist sort of blaxploitation film from the 70s.
Okay.
And Shabummy, a book about an assassin in a dystopia, which, you know, both kind of sound, all of these sound like if he did them, they would make sense.
Chad Stahelski is who
yes.
you're talking.
It seems like this Highlander thing is really moving forward because it's got a pretty full IMDb page here. You got Dave Bautista, Russell Crowe, Karen Gillan.
I mean, if they've got the full cast and it's those big names, I'm sure it's happening.
Yeah. Which, you know, I don't care about Scottish people, not to be rude, but could be interesting.
I've never seen the first Highlander.
I haven't either. Just never. I didn't know that he was an immortal Scottish swordsman. I thought it was just a guy. I thought it was kind of like Braveheart or something.
Can I be
So
honest?
maybe this
I
is
thought
something
we
to
were
check
talking
out.
about Braveheart the whole time.
Yeah, we're not. This is Highlander is like an 80s sort of franchise where an immortal Scottish guy just battles other immortal people. Like it's kind of like I don't even know how to explain it. But it's like fantasy. It's high fantasy more than anything else. So I don't know. Maybe I'll watch, you know, a movie. I think Mel Gibson or something's in it. I don't know. What do we got here? Christopher
Is Mel
Lambert.
Gibson
I
in
love him.
both?
No, it's not Mel Gibson.
Okay, I was going to say that would be
Fuck.
ridiculous.
Okay. Back to John Wick. One of the things I think worked for this movie in terms of making it successful was that it doesn't have like the franchisee like we're starting a franchisee kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that the first one, they did not anticipate it being as big as it was. Partially because there's some characters that if they knew it was going to be a franchise, they probably wouldn't have killed off.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad they did because it makes it more interesting.
I think Willem Dafoe is the biggest of those where you're like, whew,
Would have loved to see him continue, but also it makes this movie... Here's the thing, it makes this movie more interesting, but I do also think the weakest part of the movie is the events that happen as a result of his character being killed. So I'm kind of like, you could remove that and find some other way to wrap it up, and the movie might even be better.
It is also the part of the movie I forget about the most.
Yeah.
I think he just is so outside of it all for the most part.
He's not really in it.
Yeah. Like he's kind of like the guardian angel. I kind of equated it to, you know how I'm talking about how I said like, oh, it's a suicide sort of mission. Mm-hmm. He's kind of like the friend who's trying to keep his, you know, depressed friend kicking. He's like the guy who checks in, keeps him going.
Well, yeah,
to be
it kind
there
of
for
sets
when
a
he's all
perfect
right.
tone for his character by having him go to the funeral at the beginning and John be like, thanks for coming, but why are you actually here?
Yeah.
And the way they kind of leave that, and the way that scene's directed, it kind of alludes to the fact, like the idea that he is actually there for another reason. And then he's just like, I'm just here to support my friend. And they shake hands and he leaves. And it's like, oh, that's also kind of like the first real sign of like John is someone who is respected and well liked by almost everyone who knows him or has come in contact with him, which is then reinforced throughout the entire movie by basically every character. Even the characters that are against him are very often complimentary of him and like him and would rather not be against him.
Like, he's not a bad guy, even though he is a mass murderer.
Yeah.
Which is very, and I feel that every time I watch this, it's a weird tone to be able to strike.
Yeah, it's almost like without telling you what he did, you're able, the movie kind of communicates he did a lot of really bad things, but he did it with honor and professionalism, I guess. Not even honor, just professionalism.
Yeah.
He was detached about it. And I think also that they're able to humanize him by being like, he was able to get out of the life to live like a real life. And I think then it's able to be like, oh, so he did all these bad things, but he didn't want to. He was doing it, but then he left because he wanted a real life. He's not doing this because he wants to. And they're able to justify the people he kills in the movie by setting up that, oh, he's just doing it because the real life that he actually wanted away from this life was ripped from him. So it's like they're kind of able to justify all of these people he's previously killed, and we see him actively kill by being like this kind of subconscious, he doesn't want to be doing this.
Yeah.
They pushed him into a corner. He doesn't want to be doing this. They kicked his dog.
And I think they killed his dog.
They killed
and
it.
I think
yeah.
The way that it's able to have the audience stomach the movie, even though a dog is killed and laid in, like,
it's pretty brutal. They
it
don't
honestly
show
looks
it
like
actually being kicked.
But they show the dead body.
Yeah, they
the
show
dog.
the human action being made, no impact. You hear a yelp, and then you see dead dog corpse. Pretty close up.
But like the way that they're able to kind of thread that needle. And then I was watching a documentary about the Wick franchise called Wick is Pain. It's pretty decent. Interesting, for sure. Came out after the fourth one. And it talks about a survey that was done where it's like 60% of guys, when asked, is the killing justified? But like 60% of men were like, yeah, I think the killing's justified. And then 98% of women said it was justified, like because the guys killed the dog.
Yeah.
And so like it's able to thread this needle of like killing a dog, which is kind of a sin. Killing almost any animal is kind of a sin in a movie.
Yeah.
But then spinning that into like your full-blown support of like, yeah, I want these motherfuckers' heads blown off because they killed a little puppy.
Well, that's the thing. It's not even just that a dog was killed. It's a puppy was killed. And it is a puppy that was gifted by deceased wife. So they're able to just kind of like pile on all these things that like, of course people are going to sympathize and side with this guy. I think as far as the split of like 60% men versus like 90% women, I think like a woman sees a bunch of men kill a puppy, and then a man who's kind of a hottie goes around and kills all those men. That sounds great. That sounds perfect.
You think women only like guys who are hot?
Well, no, I'm saying that's a bonus. It's mostly the killing of the other men that is like the bonus.
I think it also does
the retribution for the dog. Whereas I think men are like, I don't know, there's like a code. Like they're trying to like have some other justifications and reasons. But the truth is like, you saw them kill the dog. He's fine killing the people.
Yeah. And I think another reason is like they're so efficient with showing you how sad he is. Like, you get like 5 straight minutes of him in the fucking shitter.
Dude, it's almost not quite as like expertly directed and paced necessarily, but it's almost kind of reaching the level of the beginning of Up in this movie, as far as just like, what if we just made everybody really, really sad for a bit? Except the difference there is it's like build up this happiness and then destroy it with this grief. Whereas this is just like, as soon as you're in, well, they start with like the end really, when he's like in the rain and bleeding out. But then it's kind of a fast forward, and they just spend, like 5 to 8 minutes at the beginning of the movie being like, this guy's really sad, has a lot of reason to be, and there's not really anything that can fix it. And he's just depressed. In
this documentary, they also said they shot like 9 days worth of that depressed stuff. And like initially it was like 30-ish minutes before he gets pulled out of that, like with the altercation. And they were like, this is ridiculous. Like you have to make this quicker. And so it's like very efficient. It's like, wakes up, does his normal stuff, the coffee. I think the coffee, like the drip going onto the little like hot plate, I like that shot a lot, just because there's something about it where you're like, this guy doesn't even care enough to wait for this shit to be done. Like he just needs it now. But it's just very efficient in like getting you into the inciting incident of the movie, which is this altercation at the gas station with Yosef, where he says, he asks him if he can buy the car, and then in Russian, because, okay, pin in that, come to another thing.
I really hope you're about to talk what I'm about.
I vaguely remember there being subtitles for the Russian.
Here we go. So glad you brought it up. Why in the world, when I select English subtitles on Disney Plus, would they not give me English subtitles for the Russian dialogue? It confuses me because I've seen versions of this movie where there's like styled subtitles baked into the movie.
That's what I was wondering too. I was like, I thought there were baked in subtitles. Maybe that. No, but you've only seen this in 4. So like, I don't know what happened to those.
Well, I feel like they definitely existed at some point. This has always been a thing that's kind of confused me about subtitles, not just on Disney Plus, but on all sorts of platforms. Sometimes you have baked in subtitles, and that's when the platform subtitles disappear, and then they come back on when those subtitles are gone. Sometimes you have both pop up at the same time, and then sometimes, like this instance, for some dumb fuck-ass reason, they're like, okay, now... So they selected English as the spoken language and the subtitle language. What if during the other language we had neither of those? So that they don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. And I just looked it up. And so the first 3 John Wicks, when they were added to Netflix, this is 2 years ago, got rid of the stylized captions.
Why?
And like the explanation given here is like, then they have to do it for all of the languages and shit. But I'm like, what do you mean? They're just translating Russian. I guess you have to translate it then to every other language.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Just keep it how it was. Like,
it just really confuses me. That seems like such an oversight to me, because I was like, man, there were like 4 different times in this movie where I was like, man, I wish I knew what they were saying right now.
Yeah.
Because they probably said something important, like at the gas station when John says something in Russian and Yosef reacts to it very strongly. It's like, okay, would have been nice to know what he said instead of just suko dyoko. Like, it's like, oh, cool.
And I looked that one up because that one's so important.
Yeah.
Yosef says, everything's got a price, bitch. And then John Wick says, not this, bitch. Basically calling Yosef a bitch. But then there was like other full exchanges, full conversations where you're just like, what the hell is like...
Yeah. That's just an oversight. Saying? My guess is that it's because Disney Plus has their subtitles probably like auto-generated and then gone in and edited. But that's the thing. They're probably auto-generated and then gone in, but it's like, oh, that's not English. We're not translating that. So they don't. Anyway, it's just an oversight of them not caring enough, and it's very frustrating because it makes the movie watching experience worse.
Yeah. It's honestly ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It's actually unacceptable, is the truth.
Anyway.
I'm so glad you brought that up because that's one of the few things that I wrote down I was like, that's actually unacceptable. But anyway, this altercation happens.
Yeah.
And I mean, let me just say this. There are characters that I hate in movies, but like I hate them for like their actions. Like Miss Perkins, for example. I hate her because she has no like code seemingly. She like is constantly making decisions against our protagonist and against good characters' better interests in favor of just serving herself. Like, yeah. I hate that character because of I hate all the decisions she makes, but she makes them within the bounds of like being a bad
like
person.
She's a villain. Like
she's an evil person.
Yeah.
For the most part. Then there's characters like Yosef, where I hate him because he's just so pathetic and inept and like dumb and kind of like, if I can throw the word out there, like kind meaningless, worthless slime kind of situation.
As soon as he comes on the screen, you're like, I don't like this guy. Like,
yeah,
already.
Immediately I'm like, I don't like this guy.
You've had that happen at a gas station where like you're just pumping your gas and then someone comes, they're blasting their fucking shitty music. Yeah. The guy's a dick already, and you're like, just leave me. Like, you're probably not going to interact with me, but I pray to the heavens that you don't even like look at me.
And he makes me hate him more every time he's on screen. Like when he goes to the car shop and is just like such an like arrogant piece of shit, like dumbass. Yeah. But he's also dumb is the thing. Like they killed the dog and attacked John Wick, right? And he's bleeding on the ground because they beat the shit out of him. Mm-hmm. And they all wore masks. John Wick is good enough that he probably could have figured it out anyway. But Yosef goes up to him at the end and pulls his mask down, shows him his fucking face, dumbass. Even if he wasn't John Wick, now he's got a character description of you.
Yeah.
To give
and now
the
you can
police.
be like, yeah, I saw this guy at the gas station. Does the gas station have any videotapes?
Yeah. Like
I guess he's like I own the police, like he's untouchable is his idea, but like
yeah, but also the police like John.
Yeah.
Like that was also shown. Anyway, he's just stupid. But then he also goes to his dad and he's like, he was just a fucking nobody. Even if it was a nobody, what a stupid ass thing to do. Yeah. Like leaving so many loose ends and just doing something so meaningless over nothing. Why? Because a guy called you a bitch after you called them a bitch. Like, what a horrible guy. And then
he didn't want to let you buy his car.
Like, yeah, when he said it wasn't for sale, and then you pet his dog aggressively. Weird thing to do without asking. Piece of shit. And then his dad explains who John Wick is, and he does. I mean, it's performed so well because it succeeds so well at making me like, I just want to like get at that guy.
I mean, he is good in the movie.
Yeah, but when he goes to his dad, he goes, "Dad, I can make this right. I'm gonna make this right." And he's saying it like this, like little tiny little like twerp little boy, and I'm like, go. I mean, but that the thing is. This is all to say, so much success at making John Wick the sympathetic protagonist, and so much done to like successfully make Yosef someone that you actually almost desperately want to lose.
Yeah,
like I'm like, this guy needs to be served some like
this guy needs
whoop ass. Yeah. It's like this guy needs some consequences for once in his life. He needs to be shown that he's not all that. And the good thing is, by the end, like especially when his one friend's like playing video games and he's like freaking out because it's reminding him of the fact that John Wick's coming for him, I'm like, okay, I do love that this guy's scared. That's another thing. He said a Russian thing right before he got shot in the head by John Wick, and I don't know what he said. Thanks.
Yeah, I'd love to know.
Subtitles.
Thanks, Disney.
I'm gonna
Bob Iger.
I'm gonna insert that what he said was, "I'm canceling my Disney Plus subscription."
Whoa.
Yeah, and
It
then
is
John
weird
Wick
that these
shot.
they got 2 of these on Disney Plus, and then I
Yeah,
think the
1 and
other
2,
ones
I
are
think.
on Netflix.
Probably, I don't know.
And I don't think Ballerina's on streaming yet, but
We'll find
we
a
got
way
a
to
couple
watch
weeks
it.
before that. We got a couple weeks before that. I have some notes, just some things Hillary said.
Okay.
She
Oh,
identified
good.
that the dog was a beagle.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. She also said John Wick, when John Wick serves a dog cereal for breakfast, which, is a
Yeah.
crazy move, but, I guess
As soon as I saw that, I was like, he's not gonna Google first if that's like okay. I'm sure it's like fine.
well, Hillary
but-
said milk is bad for dogs.
Oh, okay.
And then she also clocked the Splenda in his pantry, and she said John Wick must be diabetic if he's got Splenda.
Maybe, or his wife
So
was
just-
diabetic.
Well, that is true. Sometimes
It was
women
only
can
like
be
3
diabetic.
days prior or something.
Hey,
right?
I stand with diabetic women.
That's good.
I mean, she didn't die 3 days prior. I don't.
The funeral was 3
believe,
days prior.
yeah.
Yes.
One thing that there are some things in this movie that aged not as well as I would have thought. And I'll give a
Okay.
couple of these to you, and you tell me which one you want to do first.
Okay.
Color grading,
Yeah.
score, soundtrack. Which of these interests you the most right now?
Let's talk very briefly about the score and soundtrack. I feel like we can kind of
Okay.
double up on this here.
Score feels very stock. It feels like, I go onto Artlist and I go, that's just like a stock whatever site. And I just go action movie sounds or like action movie music. And this is what pops up. It's just and maybe this started
Yeah.
that. I don't think it did.
I don't think it did. I do think that this does a more like modern version of that has kind of become the more norm.
Slightly.
But I think it's like, yeah, it feels like if you gave one of those stock tracks to a like music producer and said, hey, can you make like a modern version of what this would sound like for an action movie? And then like obviously give them maybe some dailies to give them a vibe. And it's like, yeah, that's that. It's not like super inspired.
Yeah, and I think it finds what the score goes into in the later movies in the nightclub scene, where it's like, boom, boom, it's got like the hard bass, it's got like a real, yeah, got a real
I don't
like
know what
thump
that
to
sounded
it.
like. Yep.
Like that's kind of where they go with it, but in this movie, like there's parts where I'm just like, this is like the most boring action score I've ever heard. Like
Yeah.
it is really just like, no one's fault because they didn't
And just-
have a ton of money, but
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, this is music that you play over an action scene.
It doesn't really detract from the movie, but like there are maybe a couple points in this movie where it feels like the action is edited to the music, and those are the moments that I'm like, oh yeah, which just
Yeah.
makes me go, oh, if the soundtrack was thought of a little bit more and incorporated a little bit more into the actual film, then it could be like excellent. But as it is
Yeah.
right now, it's
Oh my God. Is the kitty doing something?
I think she just got stuck. Oh yeah, let me actually, maybe not on the pod, but after I'll show you the new couch.
Okay. And they get really good at mixing the score with the action in the later movies.
Yeah, that's something that like, especially because I've only seen the first and fourth,
Yeah.
something in the fourth that I definitely noticed where I was like, this feels a lot more cohesive. And
It's one of the rare cases where I think the movies get better for the most part.
yeah,
Like they really lock in on what makes it good, whereas other movies kind of like the Deadpool thing, where it's like it gets bigger and more bloated, and you're kind of like, this is not as good as it once was. I think they kind of figure it out and kind of like bake it down to the essential elements as they get further along.
I feel like that's an issue that a lot of franchise movies turn into, where it's like, oh, okay, we got to do what we did, but bigger.
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, I prefer it if you do what you did, but better. Which is kind of why, like, just to switch to a video game example that we kind of talked about earlier, I've been playing through Ghost of Yote, and a big criticism I've been seeing levied around, which kind of was being thrown around before the game even came out, so that kind of gives you an idea of which crowd was talking about it. But a lot of people were saying, like, oh, it's just, like, more Ghost of Tsushima, because it was like, oh, it's a lot of the same gameplay elements. And it's like, well, yeah, because that was really good. And then they went, what if we did that again, but just improved almost every element of that game? It's not like they're doing something that's bigger and grander and huge. Whoa, because that's not how you improve upon something.
Yeah,
like
Deadpool is like the 2K franchise.
Yeah,
where it's like the same thing and worse a little bit each time, and then at some point it's kind of like very diminishing returns, where you're like, what the fuck am I even doing here? And you know, John Wick feels like the Spider-Man. I haven't played Ghosts of whatever, you know, the Ghosts of franchise. I don't know how you would refer to it.
Yeah.
I haven't played those games, but like Spider-Man, same thing, but they build on it. Keep it tight, keep it working, but then it adds like a couple different like fun things. That's kind of the ideal way to do a franchise, but it's also in theory the least not going to make you as much money.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I don't know how true this is, but unfortunately, it seems like executives think that people only want to see a sequel of something if it's like they're taking it to the next level, which makes more sense in movies, I guess, than in games, like with my example. Like in a movie, you kind of want the stakes to be raised, is kind of what everyone says. But it's like the stakes can be raised without it being like the stakes are bigger. Like there's more, like that's something that I think superhero movies fall into a lot, is like, oh, last time the world was at risk, this time the galaxy's at risk. The galaxy was at risk last time, now it's the universe. Whoa, the universe this time, now there's multiverses and they're all at risk. And it's like, you could show me a multiverse. That. Yeah, but also you could show me a multiverse movie and then have the next movie be like a guy who, like, I don't know, a character who has two very important people in their lives, but through some sort of circumstances, like, is unable to, like, balance between both, and like there's a bunch of like pressure and stress coming in, blah blah blah, and through some climactic thing he has to choose, blah blah blah. Like those are stakes that I see as bigger than people that aren't even in your reality are at risk of. It's like, it's almost like so unimaginable that the stakes disappear. Whereas I feel like a movie like John Wick, I mean, I haven't seen 2 and 3, but it feels like they just add new stakes that feel like higher, rather than being like, and now John has to save the
like
world
the Mission
from
Impossible
being bombed or some shit.
The Mission Impossible franchise did this, where it's like all of a sudden there's a world controlling AI that that he has to stop, and you're like, I don't know if I care. Like,
actually, a great example is just to go into Star Wars. You look at the original trilogy, the stakes don't get raised. The stakes just change. Like, Empire Strikes Back is arguably the better one, or the best one, because of the stakes. But there's not a planet-killing weapon in that one. That's the one that there's not a planet-killing weapon in, actually. But then you jump forward to the sequel trilogy, And they do just do stakes go bigger because they end with episode 9 where there's literally a sky full of like 500,000 Star Destroyers that all have planet killing weapons. And it's like, and the Emperor's about to become like Supreme Sith or some bullshit, which just means he'll be invincible. It's like, that's too much. Just focus on like making the stakes of your characters high, not the stakes of the entire existence and world, you know? And I think, as far as I know, John Wick does that really well.
Yeah, and they keep it like, they don't try to make it too complicated. At the end of the day, it is kind of like, hey, I want to see 6 fucking sick action scenes.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm coming to this movie. So deliver that. Give me enough story to kind of glue the plot together. You know, I think they get a little talky, the second and third one. The third one, I think gets a little talky. And then the fourth one, they're like, we're not going to talk at all. I think he talks less in the fourth one than he does in this one.
Maybe. I don't really remember.
But they understand what the movies are supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I think Ballerina also, they're trying to find it. They were trying to find it. But it was a little too talky, you know. It was a little too like, this is her tragic backstory instead of like, look at this fucking badass kill everyone.
I liked the Bourne movies, the Jason Bourne movies, but like one of the things in those movies that I kind of felt, I haven't seen them in a long time, but I remember feeling like the weak parts were when they were like, and now we're gonna dive deep into Jason Bourne's memories. And it was just like, I kind of want him to just be a guy who barely remembers who he is, being chased by the government and killing a bunch of people.
Yeah, I think the first one, and like with John Wick, the first one you can kind of get away with just being like, this is roughly who this guy is. And they do that pretty well with the Firstborn, where it's just like, we found this guy, we don't know who he is, he doesn't know who he is, let's kind of figure it out. And there's some good character scenes, just like in this one, where like there's the iconic thing of like, I'm thinking I'm back.
Yeah.
But they hit the nail on the head with this hard enough for people to be like, I want a little more of this.
Yeah. Because I feel like Keanu's performance kind of ebbs between really good and really bad. Mostly because
which has kind of been his thing.
Yeah, he kind of plays the character of John Wick really well, but just I think isn't that great at delivering dialogue. I think just is the truth of it. At least not he's not good at delivering dialogue as John Wick, because the truth is he's like he's a gruff stoic character. So when it's like when I try to do a Schwarzenegger impression for more than a sentence or more than like 2 words.
Hit me with
it.
Hit me with it.
I mean, I can do get through the. I can do that, but you tell me to say, "Hi, my name is Arnold, and we're going to Canada's Wonderland." I probably won't be able to do that because I just don't have it there. I'm Arnold. Let's go to Canada's Wonderland. Like it's all over the place.
Like got winded or something.
It just doesn't come out. I think it's the same with Keanu.
Are you
where
choking?
It's like when he's kind of. I'm like warping my throat in some way that makes me unable to breathe, or something. I don't know. But like I feel like Keanu's able to be like, yeah, something like that. But he's not as much able to be like, everybody's been asking me if I'm back, and when I'm really thinking about it, when you're asking me and I'm really thinking about it, I'm thinking I might be back.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
That's what John
and
Wick,
that's also never been his strong suit, especially with some of his, post Point Break. Like he's pretty good at doing like the comedy dialogue in the Bill and Ted's.
Yeah.
But post Point Break, he's doing like Bram Stoker's Dracula. He's doing taking on some kind of wordy parts, and you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? How do people pay him to do this?
Yeah. I also, one that we should probably do at some point in the pod is the Matrix series. I've only ever seen the first Matrix, and I haven't seen it in a long time, and that would give a lot of range, I think, because Matrix is very good, and then they get interesting, and most recently very bad. So I'd be interested to.
Is that what you heard about Resurrections?
Yes,
I heard it was fine.
I heard it was.
I haven't seen it though. I think Hillary's watched it like
weird
3 times.
and bad. 3 times?
I don't know. I think that's a lie.
Okay, but anyway, because I'd be interested to see how Keanu acts in that. Because in that he's kind of playing more of like I don't really know what's going on. Like I'm just and I think he does that a bit better than he does, at least as far as dialogue delivery, better than like. He's playing a guy who doesn't talk a lot, so obviously when he talks a lot, it's going to sound bad. And I just think Keanu, some actors could get over that hump, and I think that he just doesn't quite, but it's okay because he nails literally every other aspect.
He's just got like a physical presence, and that's what works about John Wick. Like, in the documentary, they mentioned that a lot of this action, they were gonna give it to like for a Jason Statham movie called Safe. Yeah, I know you've heard of that.
Of course.
But I think if they put every single action scene that's in this movie in there with Jason Statham, I don't think it becomes the, $1 billion franchise that this is.
No.
Like there is something just about the way Keanu looks, how he's able to sell that.
I do
sort
think
of
this is
depression.
an iconic look as well, not just Keanu and his presence, but like I think the kind of long, slicked back hair, itty bitty jeans.
That's why they made a Fortnite skin.
But like
white Ferrari, glass house, lives for New Year's Eve.
Chicken tetrazzini at Ciccolini's. That's not what it is, but
chicken spaghetti at Ciccolini's.
His black, like kind of long, slick back hair, and his hair's a lot shorter in the first one than I remember, because I see him as like iconic long, like shoulder length, whereas his is kind of like just past the ears in this one.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the beard that's like kind of like very angular, the black on black suit. Like, just the whole look, I think, became very iconic. Jason Statham in, like, whatever, like, gray suit he's always in is not really going to become, like, whoa, everyone's talking about this and putting it everywhere, right? But I think...
And he also just doesn't have, like, the stoicism. Like, few actors have the kind of stoicism that Keanu was able to give by just doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't... Like... Could Leonardo DiCaprio do this? Probably
Leonardo
not.
DiCaprio do this? I mean, the truth is he'd probably give a good performance, but it wouldn't be what John Wick is.
Yeah.
Like I think there's something about Keanu, his cadence, the sad Keanu photo of him on the bench eating the sandwich, I think. Like, I think that kind of energy is in the character of John Wick, where you kind of just look at him and you're kind of, even though he has this maybe kind of intimidating presence, he kind of gives off this like sympathetic kind of...
He's got like a sad puppy vibe.
Yeah, and I think that I really got that when he was at the Continental in like the bar area and he's talking to the waitress and she's like, "Oh, how you been, blah blah blah." And
wish, not to give spoilers, but I wish she came back later in the franchise. She just kind of disappears. Maybe she's in the Continental show. She
even like makes a comment where she's like, "I've never seen you like this," and he's like what? And you see his sparkle in his eyes. He's such a little cutie, and she's like, this vulnerability, and it's like there is a vulnerability that I think Keanu just naturally gives off that is integral to the character of John Wick. Which kind of then makes it when he's like in that scary pose where he's like pinning that one guy to the wall, maintaining eye contact with him, and as he like slides down the wall, shooting him in the stomach 5 times. Like moments like that contrast so much to his kind of natural, just sympathetic persona that he gives off. I think that it kind of balances what we were talking about earlier about like we're able to make this character that is a career killer who's killed hundreds upon hundreds of people. Like, we're able to make him a sympathetic protagonist that you can root for. And I think Keanu just, and his presence makes that possible. So another actor could do it, just not the way that he does it.
And there's some, like, a little bit of ripped from the headline stuff where, like, he was married and then his wife died or his partner died. Like, I don't know how officially they were married. But, like, he was with someone who died.
Yeah.
And now he's with someone new now. But, like, there was a while where, like, he didn't really do a lot of interviews. When he was asked about it,
as far as I know,
like,
I might be wrong. This was kind of a little bit of a career comeback for him.
Oh, it was, for sure.
Yeah.
They talked about the movie before this being 47 Ronin. And then there was another one called, like, The Master of Tai Chi, both of which bombed.
Yeah. I only
And
remember
so, like,
47 Ronin, but I remember it not being,
It was one of those movies where you're like, I guess. Like, I don't, it's kind of cool, but, like, what the fuck is this? Because for pretty much after The Matrix, he's in no man's land.
Yeah.
He does, like, a couple movies, like there's one with Ana de Armas.
I mean, he did Bill
Knock
and Ted.
Knock.
That's the only other real, like...
Well, Bill and Ted was in the 90s, though.
That was before.
There wasn't another Bill and Ted until, like, 2020.
Which only really happened because of the success of John Wick.
Yeah. So, like, this brought him back, and I think reminded people of, like, he's not the best actor, but he's got a wavelength that you can, like, attach to and be like, I fucking like this guy. Like, he's a good, he kills hundreds of people a night, but he's a good guy.
Yeah. And he's got, there's a type of charisma some people have where some people would be like, he doesn't have charisma. He's, like, kind of monotone. And it's like, no, but there's a charisma that comes from just, like, a natural, like, there's a natural charisma and then there's, like, an external charisma. You know, some people have both, some people have one. He's someone who has kind of, like, the internal charisma. Anyway.
How long have we been going for?
Just over an hour. I'd be down to kind of, like, wind down here.
Okay. Just one note about the documentary. If you haven't seen the other ones and you're interested in watching it, I would watch it after you've watched all of them. Because it does touch on every part of the franchise. There's a lot, like, I think the first 45 minutes is John Wick 1. And it talks about how they were, like, having a tough time getting funding. Like, the day before they were going to shoot, they were missing basically $5.5 million.
Jeez Louise.
And, like, so everyone was taking pay cuts and stuff. And then the movie ends up costing like 30 plus some marketing, going up to probably 50. If I had to give a rough estimate, makes 86, which is, you know, making money.
I'm surprised it didn't make more. I guess John Wick is kind of one that I do think it's one that did a lot at the theater where people were surprised and were like, it was a lot of word of mouth. You should go see it. But I think it was also a big streaming movie.
I think it was a huge streaming movie.
Yeah.
Like early Netflix, 2014, 15 Netflix. Like, I think this thing kind of popped off. I initially heard about this movie listening to the Rooster Teeth podcast. I think Gavin Free was like, have you guys seen John Wick? And they're like, yeah, it's good. Like, I haven't seen Keanu like this in a long time. So that's how I heard about it. And I didn't see it in theaters. And then I've seen the other John Wicks in theaters, even the ballerina. But yeah, if you're interested in learning more about the movies, about the documentary, and you haven't seen them all, watch the movies first and then watch the documentary.
All right. I feel like that's usually the case.
Yeah. But, you know, part of me was like, are they just going to go through John Wick 1 for, like, this whole... And it's, like, 2.5 hours for this whole thing, and they didn't. And there's some really, like, endearing Keanu stuff where you're like, this guy's just, like... He's kind of like a wacky uncle. Yeah, like, he's a crazy guy. Part of me is like, I wouldn't want to be in a room with this guy, but also, like, he seems like he's so kind and so nice.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just my, Gen Z aversion to cringe, but he just seems like such a genuine person.
Yeah. I mean, and you kind of get that from it, like, yeah, just interviews and like different things. He was a big meme for a while memes were still a thing, I guess. But I don't know, because I know Sad Keanu was a thing, and that was before John Wick. But like there was a point where he was like a big figure where everyone on the internet was obsessed with Keanu Reeves, but I can't remember if that was before or after John Wick. But I think it kind of just adds to the mystique of Keanu Reeves, where he's one of those like nobody hates Keanu Reeves, and the truth is there are people who hate Keanu Reeves.
I guess, yeah.
Matthew Perry being one of them. I was listening to our first John Wick episode, and I brought up the fact that apparently around the time we recorded the episode, Matthew Perry was doing a book tour and said something about like he wishes that it was Keanu instead of Heath Ledger because Keanu's a worse actor. And I just remember us being like, what a crazy thing for him to say. And then that was pre-accident, so we were a bit mean about it.
I guess it was an accident. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's a weird way to refer to a drug overdose.
Yeah.
It's not like he was in a
the
car
incident.
crash.
Maybe
it's not Princess Diana.
That's truth. That's
Justice
truth.
for Princess Diana. We got to figure out what happened there.
Yeah, I don't know. Princess Di.
So a little segment. We're probably going to add some segments as we go along. We're kind of keeping it loose for now, but a little segment that we want to do when one of us hasn't seen the next movie in the franchise or both, is to give some predictions on what we think happens in the next movie.
Yeah.
So Adam, you haven't seen John Wick Chapter 2.
Okay.
I have. I'm not going to tell you what happens.
Yeah.
But what do you think happens in the second installment of the John Wick franchise?
I mean, this is going to be one of the, like, I think I'll better be able to guess what happens in 3 after seeing 2. Because by that point it's already a franchise. I'm guessing off of a solo movie that wasn't going to get a sequel, what a sequel is going to be made out of it. I wonder if his dog sticks around. I don't remember in 4 if he still has the pit bull or not. So I can't really go off that. I think that John Wick, it starts off, his dog's a little older, he's living the good life. And then he gets a communication from someone who he used to know from the biz, who's like, something happened, and he gets pulled back in, is like, I don't really want a part of this. But somehow something happens and he's dragged in, and he gets in over his head. A bunch of shit's happening, and through getting out of it, kind of gets all tied up in it, and has everybody after him, and the Continental's there.
Okay. Thank God the Continental's still there.
Yeah, Lance Reddick's there, saying, "Do you want a scotch or some, or what does he say?" I forget what he sends to his
Would
room.
you like a room?
A whiskey, maybe.
I don't know.
Brandy.
Frank and beans?
Brandy.
So you think he's going to get pulled back in because someone is going to threaten him?
I think someone from the past that was never referenced in the first film, it's going to be like, hey, John, I need a favor. And he's going to be like, I'm not in the biz anymore, man. And then he's
so it's
going to
more
be
of
like
a favor.
Or just like something with someone from his past is going to incentivize him. I don't think blackmail wise or threat wise, but just is going to like give him a reason to come back, even though he's going to be hesitant about it. And then like
an altruistic thing.
Almost like he owes a favor or something.
Okay.
And I think at some point it's going to seem like he's going to die. And then he's just going to get a second wind. And
do you think they kill the dog?
That's the thing. Yeah.
You think
Yeah,
they do?
I do.
Wow.
I don't know if it's at the beginning or the end or later, but I think like, but would that be too much? You can't be the killed the dog movie and then in the sequel they killed the dog.
Hey,
But maybe
this is your sequel. You're writing.
I don't think they should kill the dog, but I'm gonna go with they do kill the dog.
Wow. Okay, so John Wick gets pulled back in for sort of altruistic favor, we could say.
Perhaps.
His new dog is murdered, and he almost dies but gets a second win. Where do you think he ends up? In a better or worse place?
I think he ends with like he got away and maybe like defeated whoever was like in charge, whoever the antagonist is, whoever's in charge of going after him. But is leaving knowing like it's going to end with like some character being like, they're going to be coming after you. And he's going to be like, yeah, I know. I don't give a shit. That's going to be the movie.
And let me just check one thing real quickly. Okay. Never mind. That's a question for next episode.
Cool.
All right. Well, if you want to wrap us up, wrap me up.
Thank you everyone for listening to this episode of ScreenShare. We're happy to be back. We're excited to see where things go. We're kind of going into this next kind of season, next wave, next phase, next chapter, next era.
You guys know I love starting my next era.
Yeah. We're kind of going into it. No thoughts. Just the yeah was enough. We're kind of going into this next era with open minds and open hearts. Kind of just seeing where things go. Okay. Low pressure. We're just trying to have fun here. But we hope some people are excited to have ScreenShare back, and we hope some new people come along for the ride. Yeah. And we're just going to call it there. Have a great night or morning or afternoon, everybody, wherever you are, whenever you are. We love you regardless. Thank you so much, and we'll see you for John Wick Chapter 2. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you.